Honesty and transparency make you vulnerable. Be honest and transparent anyway. Mother Teresa said that once. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast, episode 42, How to Be a Transparent Leader. Hey everybody, it's Scott McCarthy, your host and founder of the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. Welcome one, welcome all to the best leadership podcast out there with the one goal in mind, making you a better leader. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you do. You could work small business, big business, government, not-for-profit. Heck, you could be a stay-at-home parent. Everybody needs leadership as far as I'm concerned, and this podcast is designed to help you achieve that. I'd like to thank you all for listening, and especially over the course of 42 episodes right now. We're closing in on 50. 50 is going to be a big show. Was talking about it last night to a certain individual, actually, so I'm not going to give you too much head info, but just know episode 50 is going to be awesome. All right. Today we're going to talk about being a transparent leader, which may be a topic which many of you may not be familiar with right now. But what I'd like to talk about first quickly, and I'm just going to hover over things. At the end of the show, I'm going to do most of my announcements and, resources recap, where you can find me, what I have to offer for all of you out there. So just listen to the end of the show and you're going to get all of that. If you already follow me on the various social media, you're signed up to my newsletter, all the benefits of all this stuff, you can feel free, once I'm done talking about how to be a transparent leader, feel free to stop. But you know what? Maybe I'll just drop some kind of knowledge bomb during that time, and you should probably stay right to the end. Heck, everybody, just stay until the end of this episode, all right? Anyway, let's dive in, shall we? Transparent leadership. What is it? Right? It's not something that you hear about often this day. And I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, this is new. Because guess what? If you read my Facebook post there not too long ago, probably at the time that you listen to this episode, it'd probably be, a week ago? Sure, whatever. Anyway, if you go to, in my Facebook post, I talk about how there's nothing new in leadership. There truly isn't. We've been leading people since the dawn of time. I think we've figured it out. Now, the problem is as generations move on, things evolve. Some things get lost. Some things get brought back. A cycle goes through. But transparent leadership is not one that you hear often about. We hear about referent leadership, inspirational leadership, servant leadership is probably the one that you hear a lot about right now. Again, not a new concept. Okay, it's not. Power leadership, positional leadership, influential leadership, yada yada. All these different types of leadership. I can just keep going on. But transparent leadership isn't something that gets talked about. So, sum up, Scott. What is it? All right. Transparent leadership is allowing your people to be aware of information about you that you have knowledge of about them. So they know what's going on with you, just like you know what's going on with them. Allowing them information that normally people don't get access to. Okay? Informing them of things that most leaders would not inform their people of. Being that transparent body. Okay? So why would you want to be a transparent leader? And that's a great question. We talk about why so often on the show. Why should we do this? What type of leadership, should I invoke in this situation? And why should I do it that way? So why should you be a transparent leader? Well, let me tell you, there's two reasons that really stick out in my mind. And the first reason is closing that gap. The gap between you as the leader and your people at the ground floor. Okay? And what I mean is often us as leaders, we get seen, in this hierarchy. Oh, it's the boss. Oh, if you're in multiple levels of leadership within an organization, heck, maybe people will call you, oh, here's the big boss, right? Or the really big boss, yada, 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 right? And you get the point. So being a transparent leader, you're showing there's no difference between you and them. The rules apply just as much to you as the leader as them as the workers at the ground level. In the military, I came across a acronym / slang saying that goes RHIP. Rank has its privileges. Well, in essence, yes, that is true. There are certain privileges I get by having my rank. However, that doesn't mean I get to go ahead and put it in people's faces. That doesn't mean I get to go and abuse those privileges. That doesn't mean that I'm not held accountable, just like my people would be held accountable should I go and do something that I'm not supposed to do. That is why you want to be a transparent leader. And in turn, your people will look at you and be able to relate better to you as the leader if you're transparent with them, just like they're basically transparent with you, because by the fact of your position and where you are in an organization, you get access to certain types of information. So that's reason one on why you should be a transparent leader. The second reason why you want to be a transparent leader is because it increases accountability within your organization. Now, I kind of skimmed over it just a moment ago, and I went on a bit of a tangent when I was talking about the first reason, i.e. closing the gap. But the second reason of increasing accountability in your organization, because you're showing your people that you're no better than they are, people will hold each other more accountable. If someone starts sloughing off work, showing up a touch late, doing things that they're not supposed to do, others are going to hold them accountable, within their own levels within the organization. And all of a sudden, your leadership team don't necessarily have to get involved. Like, hey, Joe, you showed up 20 minutes late to work today. The boss never shows up late. Why do you think you can show up late? And if the boss does show up late, he's transparent and lets us know. Boom. Accountability held with it right in your organization. And all you needed to do was be transparent. Okay? So that's the second reason why you want to be a transparent leader. Again, reason one, close that gap. Show your people you're no better than they are. You are not Superman. You're not any demigod. You're a human being just like they are. And in turn, they can relate better to you. Reason number two, accountability within your organization. So people start holding each other accountable for their actions, raising the bar for your team, your organization as a whole. So that's great. You now know what a transparent leader is, why you should be one. But how do you go about being a transparent leader? Because what and why are great, but the how, the action, the rubber meeting the pavement, this is where things actually occur. This is where results come from. So how can you be a transparent leader? There's a few different ways. And it all depends on the type of organization you're leading and your interaction with your people. So I'll just give you a few examples of how I personally am transparent with my people. So the first example is not being somewhere where everybody else is supposed to be. Okay, we all have those mandatory meetings. We all have those mandatory timings, group hugs, team meetings, whatever. For us, we often have morning physical training sessions, PT, where we all get together, and they're routine. Every single Thursday morning, we know we have morning PT as a unit. Now, from time to time, I can't make it. My schedule doesn't allow it. My boss has other priorities for me. I need to adjust my workflow and take that time away from PT as a unit and use it to achieve some deadlines, some results that I need to achieve for the organization. Or, maybe I have another appointment that I had to have during this time. Yada, yada, yada. Pick a reason. Anyway, so they're all valid reasons, within the situation, making sure as long as I can't schedule those appointments another time, or the boss truly says, hey, I need you for this time, whatever, right? As long as they're valid, this is the key thing, making sure they're actually valid. And no one's going to go ahead and validate them. Your people aren't going to validate them, but it's so that you can hold that legitimacy in your mind when you're telling your people, and this is the key thing. I go, hey, folks, during our Wednesday coordination meetings, I go, yep, we have PT tomorrow. I am not going to be there for this reason. Boom. Okay. That's what I do. That's how I achieve transparency. So everybody around the table knows that I'm not there. Here's the reason why. I'm no better than you guys. So yes, you all will be there, but I won't be there for this valid reason. Okay. So that's way one of how to be transparent. Another way that I exude transparency is through mandatory training. So we have these numerous mandatory training courses. Every large organization has them. It doesn't matter. Okay. And for us, from time to time, they expire and you have to recertify, right? And we actually get, every year we're supposed to have a certain group of these courses completed. Now, some expire 1 year, some expire every 3 years, some expire every 5 years. So we have to keep on top of when we do these courses. And I actually get briefed on all my people within my organization, the 200 of them, those who are qualified and those, more importantly, aren't qualified. And I get a list of names of who aren't qualified. And guess what? My name is on that list. So when I'm talking about getting our people and getting these training courses completed, I will even go to the extent of saying, yes, I see my name on this list for this course. I am going to complete it next Thursday afternoon. So then the following week after that Thursday, when we meet, I will even go ahead and point out and go, yep, see, my name is no longer on this list for this course. So one, I am showing that, yes, I'm acknowledging that I have work to do. Two, I am telling people my plan and how I'm going to achieve the required goal. And three, I am pointing out when it is done. Because this is all types of information that I have at my fingertips of all my people. All right, folks, these are just a couple examples of how you can be more transparent in your daily work. There are many other ways. If you show up late to a meeting for a valid reason, you just let people know, oh, sorry, I was late. I was doing such and such a thing. Is another way. Anyway, it all depends on what your organization values, what your organization, thinks is important, how it runs, how it operates, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to look at this through your own organization's eyes, lens, and determine, ask yourself, how can I be more transparent in my daily leadership? How can I show my people that I'm no better than what they are? How can I close that gap? And being transparent is definitely a great way to achieve that. All right, folks, that is the episode per se on my leadership lesson, we'll call it, for this episode. One, I got a few things I'd like to go over quickly, just mainly because I don't really go over all the different resources every week that I have out there for you, because the intro to the episode would be about 20 minutes long, plus 30 to 40 minute interview, plus the actual intro and extra. You're talking about an hour and a half podcast, which is not what I am trying to achieve here. My individual shows, I try to go 20 to 30 minutes. My interview shows, I try to keep under an hour. Obviously, if you listen to the last episode with Sean Stratton, 2 episodes ago with Sean Stratton, you'll realize that sometimes that just doesn't happen. Anyway, I digress. Just want to go over a few different things with you. And first off is obviously my website. So if you go to movingforwardleadership.com, movingforwardleadership.com, that's where everything is stored. Everything is housed. Okay? If you go in that website, you will see everything. So the show notes are in there. All my social media profiles are at the bottom of the page. There are links to my articles that I write from time to time, okay? Leadership articles. And as well, really cool thing is my Moving Forward Leadership resources. So if you go to that page, you'll see a number of resources that either I've created, my guests have created, or I recommend, okay? And if you see something there that you like, please buy, because in turn that actually helps me. All those books that are there are all Amazon affiliate links. So every time you buy one from my website, I get a very small cut of the profits. Now, keep in mind, this actually goes at no additional cost to you whatsoever. Zero zilts, okay? So that's a great way to support Moving Forward Leadership and the movement we have going here. Talking about support, if you go to movingforwardleadership.com/support, that's actually going to bring you to my Patreon account and page. And that's a great way to support the movement, the podcast, the website, and so on. There are 3 different levels in there. I won't go through them in detail. You'll see them there. The top tier one being CEO, you actually get 30-minute leadership coaching calls with me per month. Like, where else on Patreon are you going to find that? I don't think anywhere else. And speaking of things that you're not going to find anywhere else, let's talk about the Moving Forward Leadership Mastermind. So if you go to movingforwardleadership.com/mastermind, that's going to take you to my Facebook group. Now, I'm in there and I'm posting daily, topics, articles, just answering questions, whatever have you. But that's not really the neatest thing. The neatest thing is that I invite all my guests there. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I invite all my guests there, but 80% of them are actually there. But still, where are you going to find a place where you can go and interact with podcast guests in an open forum for free? So again, just go to movingforwardleadership.com/mastermind, and that's going to take you there. All right. And one last thing before I sign off for this episode, and that's my monthly newsletter. So again, if you went to movingforwardleadership.com, you'll see the button there in the top right corner. It says sign up, and you can sign up for the newsletter. Now, I send that newsletter monthly, okay? But from time to time, I do giveaways from it. I'll go into the list and randomly select people. For example, just a few weeks ago, I selected 2 members of the mailing list and emailed them directly saying, hey, congrats, you just won a free leadership coaching call with myself. What? Yeah, seriously, did it. And just a heads up, sometime soon, someone may or may not get a free book. Just saying. So, if you're not signed up to the newsletter, you should probably go to the webpage and go through the sign up form. Okay? No gimmicks, no, asking you to buy this, buy that. Seriously, it's just information, leadership information, which I find valuable and think that you will too. All right, folks, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you now have a greater understanding of all the different resources which I'm building for you to help you develop your leadership skills, because we all need leadership in our lives. We all will be leaders someday, some point in our lives, at some time, maybe as soon as you finish up listening to this podcast. So that's why I'm here doing this for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a great day, a great week, and I'll be back next week with another great interview. Until then, keep pushing, keep trying, keep moving forward. Take care now.